Southern Sports Now. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Great Mother's Day weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Appreciate you for joining us today as we get a new week started. That's right. Back at it for a Monday. Excited to be here. Lots to get to over the next 60 minutes as we dive into all things sports. It's a big week as we got state championships are going to be crowned right here in Calhoun County at Oxford's Choccolocco Park. The baseball's going to have some up at Rudy Abbott Field at Jacksonville State. And so, and quite a few local teams, as we'll get to throughout the show, are going to be playing for a chance to bring home the blue map and do it right here in their home county, which is always nice. We'll talk some Braves baseball. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to the Braves. Today we'll talk some college baseball, college softball, as the NCAA tournament is set for college softball. We got all kinds of stuff to get to, but of course we want to tell you up front, we want you to like, share our post, our live stream here. We're on Facebook, on the East Alabama Now Facebook page. You can share us with all your friends. You can like, you can comment there. Also, we are on YouTube, on the East Alabama Now YouTube channel. So go ahead and subscribe so you can get notified when we go live each day. Remind you to watch. Follow us on Twitter at EAN_sports, and we'll put the link there for the YouTube channel up there on Twitter. Those are the ways you can watch and follow along. But again, like, share, comment on our Facebook and YouTube channels as we get going here on a Monday, fired up and ready to go. And as always, how we start the show with our top 5 headlines of the day. So let's jump right into it here on this Monday. First up, Jacksonville State baseball gets the sweep over Central Arkansas in their final home series of this year. They'll go on the road up at Lipscomb next weekend, but a great way to wrap up the homestand for Jacksonville State with a sweep over Central Arkansas. We'll look at some highlights of that one yesterday, but it was a big home run from Carson Crow that gave Jacksonville State a 6-5 win yesterday in the series finale there. So great weekend for Jacksonville State baseball. Alabama softball gets the number 5 seed in the NCAA tournament, and the Tide lost on Friday in the semifinals of the SEC softball tournament to Tennessee. But Alabama was still able to get the number 5 seed. They're going to be hosting a regional beginning this weekend. Auburn softball, they get number 9 seed in the NCAA tournament. They go on the road in the regional round. They will be in Clemson's regional. We'll give you a list of all the teams that will be joining us later on, or joining them later on in the show. But Alabama and Auburn, both top 10 seeds. That's pretty cool. 2 teams here from the state in NCAA softball. When it comes to local softball, we've got 4 East Alabama teams that are in the state tournament this week at Choccolocco Park. You got Pleasant Valley, you got Piedmont, you got White Plains, and Oxford all competing in the state softball tournament. And we'll be bringing you some highlights of those games as we move through the week. That gets going tomorrow out at Choccolocco Park in Oxford. And our final headline, not a good weekend for our Atlanta Braves. They go up to Toronto. They get swept by the Blue Jays. Tough week pitching. We've talked a lot about Braves pitching. It was a tough weekend on the mound. We'll go through that. What corrections can the Braves make? What can they do offensively? But a tough weekend overall for the Atlanta Braves. So those are our top 5 headlines here on this Monday. And again, we've got a really big week coming up, and lots of local stuff happening. College baseball will be in full swing with some midweek games this week. Oxford High School baseball is playing for a state championship for the first time since 2012. We'll be previewing that as it begins tomorrow at Choccolocco Park. Then a couple of games on Wednesday to see if Oxford can bring home that blue map. But a very exciting week. And we do want to remind you, if you have any story ideas, any guest ideas that you would like to see on Southern Sports Now, send us an email eansports23@gmail.com. That's the best way to get in touch with us. Also, direct message us on Twitter. You can follow us there at EAN_sports. Send us a direct message, or on the Facebook page, East Alabama Now. They're on Facebook. Shoot us a message, and we would love your ideas of guests, stories, whatever you want to hear, you, the sports fans of East Alabama and beyond, watching Southern Sports Now. We're going to jump to a break. We've got a lot to get to today. Coming up next, we will dive into the Braves. Also talk a little XFL, a little spring football action as that wrapped up over the weekend. All that and more coming up for Southern Sports Now as we continue here on a Monday.
Starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. Steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
East Alabama Now Local News has been bringing you the best local news coverage for 6 months. And now we're growing.
EAN News will be available to you 5 nights a week with new faces, new content, and coverage that is second to none.
We'll be bringing you the weather that matters to your neighborhood and to you. Rain or shine, you'll be in the know.
Sports always brings communities together, and EAN Sports will have coverage of all of our area events.
East Alabama Now, local news, new faces, same great coverage. Starting 5 days a week, May 1st. EAN Local News, your news on your schedule.
Ted's Floors and Beyond. They sponsored this segment here on this Monday. And here's something cool about Ted's Floors and Beyond. They have partnered with Welborn Cabinet to now be able to offer you a complete kitchen or bath makeover. That includes cabinets, countertops, flooring, backsplashes, and tile showers. They offer 0% interest financing for 12 months and free in-home estimates. Also, lifetime warranty on flooring installation. One of the best parts is they're locally owned and operated. Ted's Floors and Beyond. All types of flooring, hardwood, laminate, carpet, tile, and luxury vinyl. They're your one-stop shop. Again, the and beyond part, they now offer complete kitchen and bath makeovers. So whether it's you need a floor, you need a kitchen or bath makeover, Ted's Floors and Beyond is the place to go. They're on Highway 431 in Anniston. We appreciate Ted's Floors and Beyond for sponsoring this segment of Southern Sports Now. We mentioned in the headlines, tough weekend for the Braves. They go up to Toronto. They get swept by the Blue Jays. Again, a series we don't see a lot. Here is one interesting note, though, on this on the Braves getting swept by the Blue Jays. Every year the Braves have won the World Series, they've been swept by the Blue Jays. So, you know, hey, you take that for what you want. Well, let's look at some highlights from the game yesterday. And it was a decent game for the Braves, better than what we saw Friday. better than what we saw on Saturday. And it started with this guy right here, Ronald Acuna Jr. His the third pitch of the game, he sends into the upper deck. And so you think, well, hey, this is a good start for the Braves. Offensively, let's see if they can keep it going. After that, the offense kind of continues to go. They're able to get some guys on base, but offense is not where the issue was yesterday for the Braves. Yesterday was frustrating because we saw the second bullpen game of the last 4 days, of the last 4 games, rather. So with Fried and Wright out, you're thinking, well, what are the Braves going to do pitching? Well, they go to the bullpen games. So the offense is really having to step up. What's cool and what we've noticed from these highlights that we're watching, the Braves have been able to hit the long ball. Home runs have not been an issue for the Braves. Fielding kind of was yesterday, as you're seeing right here. That was the winning run come in yesterday for the Blue Jays as they win 6-5 on a walk-off hit. That's a frustrating way to lose a game for sure. But the pitching, AJ Minter's been struggling for the Braves. So when you have to rely on the bullpen, Iglesias did not finish the game up well. Gave up 3 straight singles, including the one you just saw on the highlights that ended up giving the Blue Jays the win. But with no real starter in, that's been an issue. And but offensively, you saw Pilar. That was Pilar hit the home run, the last home run you saw there for the Braves in the highlight package. That was Kevin Pilar, and he's a guy that needed a boost of confidence like that, and he got it. But 3 errors in the field for the Braves yesterday to kind of show what the defense, kind of what's been going on between pitching and then errors yesterday. The offense couldn't do it all, and that really hurt the Atlanta Braves. We showed you last week their schedule in the month of May and how brutal it is. That was just the start of it, but now it's time to turn the page from that when you got the Rangers who lead the AL West starting tonight, and we'll see what the Braves can do traveling from Toronto now to Texas to play. That's something else. I mean, the road trips the Braves are having to take from Atlanta to Toronto now to Texas, that's a lot of traveling in just a few days to play some baseball in some very different conditions. And so we'll see how the Braves do in Texas with the Rangers series. The good thing about this series, though, is the Rangers do have some guys out as far as pitching. So if the Braves can continue to hit the ball and get things going offensively, that could help their chances, but they've got to have some guys step up. Spencer Strider looked good Friday night, though. He had 12 strikeouts. That is phenomenal for Spencer Strider. He's a guy that they're really going to have to rely on during this time with all the injuries. Bryce Elder had a decent day on Saturday. He gave a good 5 innings or so. I'd like to see him maybe go 6 or 7 innings. But Saturday, the only really bright spot offensively was Marcell Ozuna and his home run. That was really the only spark the Braves had at offense. And when you're having to rely on a guy like Marcell Ozuna to lead your offense, that's a little shaky. Friday, Saturday, not great offensively. Yesterday, much better offensively for the Braves, but kind of the opposite. Pitching and defense was not at all good for Atlanta yesterday. So very inconsistent at this point, but we'll see what the Braves can do moving forward. Let's move from baseball to XFL, because the XFL championship was this weekend, and you think about these spring football leagues and the parity that comes along with them, because it's teams we don't really know, guys we may not have really heard of, some coaches we have. Bob Stoops is the head coach of the Arlington Renegades. His team took on the DC Defenders this weekend. Let's look at some highlights here as we talk about this game. What an interesting turn of events here. There you see the Renegades come into this game at 4-6 on the year. They've only won 4 games. They have a losing record. They're in the championship. They've had a good push in the playoffs. Taking on the DC Defenders, who've kind of led the XFL all season. They were 9-1 on the season, heavily favored in this matchup. But you see the Renegades having no problem offensively, led by their quarterback, Luis Perez. Perez was picked up by the Renegades. He was traded to them in Week 7. After they've gone through about 3 or 4 quarterbacks already, they turned to Perez. He's our only hope, they say, to make a push in the playoffs. He gave them that push and pushed them all the way to the championship. And here's the last play of the game. The Defenders just down by a touchdown, and they throw a pick. Renegades get it, take it to the ground, and the Arlington Renegades win the XFL. That's a familiar face at winning championships right there. Bob Stoops, of course, longtime Oklahoma head coach, and spent a lot of time in college football. Got the win. And again, this was the first XFL championship since 2001. The Los Angeles Extreme won it back in 2001. They tried that 2020 season, but it was canceled because of COVID. So this is really the first true season of the XFL. We've seen all these spring football leagues. We saw, of course, the XFL in 2020 didn't get going because of COVID. We saw the AAF got canceled mid-season. Last year, the USFL finished the year. Birmingham Stallions won. And this year, the XFL completed their season. And with the money behind these spring leagues now, I think is going to be helpful. Of course, with the USFL, Fox, the television corporation, owns the league, and so they've got a lot of money backing them. The XFL has an owner in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who's got a lot of money going into the XFL. They're kind of starting to team up with the NFL now, and future plans of kind of joining together to make it a supplemental league for the NFL. So I think that's going to help the XFL's chances. So when you think, are we going to see this again? Are we going to see the XFL back for another season? I really think we will. I think there's a very good chance that the XFL will be back. We'll continue with the same team, same coaches. They're going to be able to build this brand. You think, is football really wildly popular in the spring? I think the numbers were pretty good this year. I really do for the XFL. Probably the XFL more than the USFL, just because of the names behind the XFL teams. But certainly a big weekend for the XFLs, and really a come from behind. No one expected Bob Stoops and the Arlington Renegades to win the XFL. But, hey, congratulations to them. Losing season, but winning a championship. How often do you see that? Only in a sport where you have a playoff system like the XFL does do you see that. But really a great ending to a pretty good season as the XFL got started. Let's jump to a break here. We've got a lot more to get to as we roll through this Monday. We'll talk some college baseball, some college softball, high school baseball and softball on the way as well. Stick around here on this Monday. Southern Sports Now rolling on.
This April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
EAN Sports is proud to bring you the best, most informative local sports content, and we want your help to be able to do that. If you have a story idea, a tip for our sportscast, or even a highlight clip you want to see on EAN Local Sports, send us an email, eansports23@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter @EAN_sports, or you can send it to the EAN News Facebook page. EAN Sports, bringing you the local sports happening in your community.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
You see some interesting weather phenomenon in your backyard here in East Alabama, send that to us. We would love to hear from you. Send that to us at the email address you see on your screen or through Facebook at EAN News.
Back live, Southern Sports Now on a Monday afternoon. Hope you had a great weekend, and lots going on in the sports world this weekend, and we are all over it here on this Monday. I want to invite you to comment and share on Facebook, on YouTube. Would love to hear from you, and tell us your favorite moment of the weekend. And we'll get to those comments as they begin rolling in here. But again, on the East Alabama Now Facebook page, on the East Alabama Now YouTube page is where you can watch our show each and every day. But what was your favorite sports moment of the weekend? Drop that in the comments, and we'll go through those later on in the show. Want to get to some JSU baseball right now. Big weekend for the Gamecocks. Final home series of the season. And, again, it was all offense. Let's look at these highlights from Jacksonville State, Central Arkansas. How about T.J. Reeves starting things off, going deep into left field, and starting the game off hot for Jacksonville State. It was a big day offensively at Rudy Abbott Field. As we see T.J. Reeves there, Derek Jackson also hitting one out for Jacksonville State. He hit a home run there in one of his 4 at-bats, also picked up an RBI, and it was also Carson Crow hitting one out. He really came through for this team in the 8th inning to help them to get the sweep there. Mason Manners was 2 for 3 on the day, and Javon Hernandez 2 for 4 on the day. But Carson Crow sending one out in the 8th inning gave the Gamecocks the sweep. That was his 34th career home run to help seal the deal for the Braves. There was only, in all 3 games this series, only once did Central Arkansas have the lead. And so hats off to Jacksonville State and what they were able to do to seal the deal, to get a good win over a decent team there in Central Arkansas. But Jacksonville State has really been able to put up the offense to kind of go with their pitching that they have. But credit Jacksonville State as now we go into kind of the final week of the season. Jacksonville State has Auburn at Plainsman Park coming up on Wednesday night. And then this weekend, they'll make the trip up to Nashville to take on Lipscomb in the final conference series. Jacksonville State versus the SEC, though. They beat Georgia earlier in the year. They beat Ole Miss earlier in the year. Now they have Auburn. We'll see if they can get their 3rd SEC win of the season. I do want to look at the ASUN baseball standings right now on the screen as we see kind of where Jacksonville State sits heading into ASUN tournament in a couple of weeks as we wrap up the season. Lipscomb is leading the conference right now. They're having a great year. That's who Jacksonville State goes up to play this weekend. They are 20-7 in conference play. They're 30-22 overall. Florida Gulf Coast sits in the 2nd spot at 19-8 in conference play, 37-14 overall. Stetson 18-9, Jacksonville State 18-9. So those are the top 4. Jacksonville State sits top 4 in the ASUN right now, 18-9. Jacksonville University is right behind the Gamecocks, and you see a big gap in records there when it comes to conference play. You see Jacksonville State 18-9, and then Jacksonville Dolphins 14-13, Eastern Kentucky 14-13. Liberty 14-13, and Austin Peay 14-13. So you kind of got Lipscomb, Florida Gulf Coast, Stetson, Jacksonville State, kind of that top tier, the top four. And they've been kind of dominating all season in the ASUN. And then you've got your Jacksonville, EKU, Liberty, Austin Peay. And then you get in North Florida, 13-14, Kennesaw State, 12-15, Central Arkansas, 12-15, Queens, 8-19, Bellarmine 7-21, and then North Alabama just 6-21 on the season. But when you kind of focus on the top four here of Lipscomb, Florida Gulf Coast, Stetson, Jacksonville State, you've got to think one of those teams will end up winning the conference. And I'm interested to see what Jacksonville State is able to do when they go up to Lipscomb this weekend to face them, as that could kind of show a lot in what the ASUN tournament looks like as far as seeding and what the seeding looks like. If Jacksonville State was able to go up and get a win over Lipscomb, that would be huge, and would be cool for Jacksonville State maybe to move up to that third or even second spot in the conference if they were able to do that. But Jacksonville State looking good heading into the final weekend of ASUN play. As long as the Gamecocks stay healthy, I definitely think they could win a couple of games there in the ASUN tournament. So Jacksonville State softball, of course, finished up last week, but we do have some softball we'll get to here in just a second, as Alabama, Auburn both did not, neither one of them won the SEC, but in great position heading into the NCAA tournament, even with losing in the SEC championship. I want to take a look at the top 16 seeds in the NCAA tournament. The selection show is last night, so we get the top 16 right here. This is what the NCAA softball tournament is going to be looking like. These are the teams to watch. Oklahoma, they are 51-1 on the year. Incredible what Patty Gasso and the career she has there at Oklahoma. They sit at number 1. Once again, you've got to think they are the favorite to go win the national championship again there in the Women's College World Series. UCLA, another one of those teams that tends to be up there every year. They're 52-5. Florida State, 50-8 on the year. They are number 3. Here's where we get into some SEC teams. Tennessee, they defeated Alabama on Friday night in the semifinals. They're 44-8. They're number 4. Patrick Murphy and the Crimson Tide at number 5 with a 40-18 record. Oklahoma State, number 6. Washington, 7. Duke, 8. And then you've got Stanford, 9. LSU, 10. Arkansas, 11. Northwestern, 12. Texas, 13. Georgia, 14. Utah, 15. And Clemson, 16. And that rounds out the top 16 seeds for the NCAA tournament. And it's going to be some really good softball coming up in the regional rounds. But if you look at it from an Alabama and Auburn perspective, let's see who they will be matched up with in their respective regionals. Alabama being a number 5 seed, they get to host. So there will be a Tuscaloosa regional. And in that regional, of course, Alabama. Then you've got Long Island University from New York coming down to Tuscaloosa. You've got Middle Tennessee and Central Arkansas out of the ASUN. They were the ASUN Conference champs. They will be in Tuscaloosa. Auburn has to head on the road. They will be up in Clemson, South Carolina, with Clemson, Cal State Fullerton making the trip across the country to Clemson, South Carolina, and University of North Carolina and Greensboro in the Clemson Regional as well. So really excited for some postseason softball. If you're not a college softball fan, or maybe you haven't watched, a pitch all season, I would, starting this weekend when regionals roll around. Regionals begin Thursday and Friday and through the weekend, and then the Super Regionals, and then the College World Series. It's always entertaining. It's always fun, and it helps when you have teams here in the state of Alabama who are really good. Auburn's good. They have a chance to come out strong out of that Clemson Regional. Alabama, very good. They have a chance to come out strong, to go in the Supers and maybe even the College World Series. A very familiar territory for Alabama. So if you're not a college softball fan, I would start watching it. It's a lot of fun to check out the college softball. One last college baseball note I want to hit on is Alabama got a series win over Texas A&M this weekend. We've talked talked a lot about Alabama baseball in the last couple of weeks. We talked with Joe Cox on Friday from Saturday Down South. And, you know, with Brad Bohannon being fired a couple of weeks ago and the way he was fired from what he did, that's has to be tough on any team. Since Bohannon was dismissed from Alabama baseball, they're 5-2. And they're coming on strong at a very important time of the season. So credit Alabama. Hats off to the Crimson Tide for getting it done, for making it happen in very tough situations. Jason Jackson is doing a fantastic job as the interim head coach, leading this team. And again, in a very tough part. The guys have responded well. They've rallied around each other. And you got to be proud of where Alabama baseball is right now based on the circumstances surrounding the program. So hats off to Coach Jackson and what he has been able to do. We'll jump to a break here. We've got more to get to as far as high school sports. We'll dive into what's coming up this weekend in baseball and softball on the high school levels. We'll do that next here on Southern Sports Now.
April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brodney Sneed from both CARES and Direct Primary Care. Direct Primary Care is an exciting new model of medical care growing on both the East and West Coast. It's been recommended by Forbes and the American Academy of Family Physicians and others for individuals or small businesses with or without health insurance. The pure simplicity of a membership model streamlines the burden of medical care. It eliminates 60% of the overhead. That streamlining allows providers time to focus on patients with free, no copay, no deductible, unhurried office visits or telehealth visits with minimal waiting room time. It produces same or next day appointments and access by text or telephone during and after hours. It saves you from leaving work, wasting time and getting exposed in a waiting room, and the convenience and cost with barriers removed helps one avoid letting problems like a sore throat turn into an expensive ER or hospital visit for pneumonia. If you're interested, search the web for CARES Direct Primary Care.
Southern Sports Now on a Monday. Glad you're joining us. Chase Robinson here with you. Hope you had a great weekend. Want to remind you, check us out on Facebook, on YouTube. That's where we're streaming live right now. Go ahead, like, share, comment. Let us know how your weekend was, your favorite sports moment of the weekend. Also, hit us up with your messages on Facebook, YouTube, on our Twitter page at EAN_sports. You can email us, EANsports23@gmail.com. Maybe you have a guest idea, story idea, whatever it is. Hit us up there on the contacts there on the screen, and we would love to hear from you. But drop us comments today as we move through this Monday show. Lots of high school sports coming up this weekend. And I'm very excited because for the next 5 days, we're going to have state champions being crowned right here in Calhoun County. Choccolocco Park in Oxford, state softball tournament, and game ones of the state baseball championship series. The game 2 and 3s will be played actually at Jacksonville State, Rudy Abbott Field. But let's look at the local softball teams we have playing from East Alabama. You got Pleasant Valley. They are taking on Wicksburg. That is tomorrow. At 10:45 a.m., they will play their first game. Now, keep in mind, all of these are double elimination. So let's say a team loses, they still will have another game to play and to get themselves back in to the running for a state championship. So Pleasant Valley gets us started off with Wicksburg tomorrow, 10:45 a.m. Class 3A, you've got Piedmont. They're taking on Opp Wednesday at 10:45 a.m. So we'll get to see Piedmont in action taking on Opp Wednesday. In Class 4A, we'll see Class 4A play on Friday at 10:45. White Plains takes on Orange Beach. Now, here's an interesting note on Orange Beach. Their first year ever to have a softball team was 2 years ago. And their first year to ever field a team, they won the 2A state championship. Now they are a Class 4A because they are continuing to win state championships in softball. It's unreal what they were able to do as a brand new program. Really incredible there. But White Plains has Orange Beach first round Friday at 10:45. Thursday we'll see 6A Oxford taking on Wetumpka first game. Again, all of these are played at Choccolocco Park in Oxford for the AHSAA State Softball Tournament. And again, double elimination. And so each of these teams will play at least 2 games in this tournament, hopefully much more for our local Calhoun County teams. But if you're a high school softball fan and you live around Choccolocco Park or in Calhoun County, that's the place you want to be to go check out some really good softball. I remember going out there last year just to watch, just to check out our local teams playing there in the state tournament. Lots of areas, lots of schools represented here in Oxford. So that's big for Choccolocco Park to be able to host the state softball tournament. Let's look at baseball, and let's start with 6A. We're going to run through the matchups for all of them, but the one that a lot of folks in this area care about is the Class 6A state championship as Oxford takes on Spanish Fort. Here's the schedule if you want to check it out. Game 1 is coming up tomorrow at 4 p.m. There at Choccolocco Park on the Signature Field. And Game 2 between Oxford and Spanish Fort Toros will be Wednesday at 10 a.m. there at Rudy Abbott Field at JSU. The if necessary Game 3 will be following that 10 a.m. game on Wednesday. And so if Oxford and Spanish Fort split, they will play that Game 3 following Game 2. So that's the schedule for the 6A Championship Series. But let's run through all the teams. Again, if you're a high school baseball fan and you want to go watch state championship games, this is where you want to be. So Class 1A, you've got Brantley and Appalachian. Now, I had a chance to see Appalachian late March, early April, as they actually came to Anniston to take on Faith Christian. I had a chance to see them. They were the number 1 team in the state, and they looked really good there for Appalachian. So Appalachian and Brantley in Class 1A. You've got Ayrton and Vincent in the Class 2A State Championship Series there in Oxford, Jacksonville. So, of course, folks over in Vincent, I know, piling over here as well as Ayrton. Class 3A. Now, Piedmont saw Gordo in the quarterfinal round. Gordo beat the Bulldogs, of course. They're in the state championship series, taking on Houston Academy, representing Class 3A. So I know Piedmont fans are going to want to keep an eye on this one to see how Gordo does. In Class 4A, the Etowah Blue Devils back in the state championship. They lost a season ago. This year, they've got UMS Wright as Coach Blake Bone and the Etowah Blue Devils will try to get a blue map back to Attala there at Etowah High School. In Class 5A, another Etowah County team coming to the state championship series, the Sardis Lions. They will take on Hopeville in Class 5A. So congratulations to Sardis for making it there to the state championship series. We know in Class 6A who it's going to be. Oxford and Spanish Fort playing for that 6A state championship. And then in Class 7A, the big boys, Central Phoenix City taking on Vestavia Hills for the 7A state championship series. So some really good baseball coming up at Choccolocco Park and Jacksonville State. Again, for all of the baseball series, Game 1 at Choccolocco Park, Game 2 and 3 at Jacksonville State. AHSAA.com has all the brackets that you can see, the times and teams playing in the state championship series. And but we'll be keeping an eye on that Tuesday and Wednesday for the Oxford Yellow Jackets. And tomorrow morning we'll preview more of that Oxford Spanish Fort series that's coming up this week. I want to remind you, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube. That's where you can watch us each and every day. And we appreciate all of you great folks who are liking it, who are sharing it, who are watching. But share our YouTube live stream. You can share the link, and we'll share it up on our Twitter at EAN_sports. Share our Facebook live stream with your friends. You can comment, interact with us there as well. And go ahead and follow the East Alabama Now Facebook page, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel, so you will be alerted when we go live and when we have our nightly newscast. So East Alabama Now, bringing you local news each and every weekday night. Here in the mornings, we got Southern Sports Now. So appreciate all of the folks for hanging out with us. We've got great guests coming up this week. Again, we're going to be talking a lot of high school softball and baseball with it in town, and we'll have highlights from our local softball teams, highlights from Oxford baseball. Looking forward to a great week as we get rolling here on this Monday. We'll have some great guests on the show as we move through as well. And we appreciate you for hanging out with us. We're going to be adding more elements to the show as well as we move through here on Southern Sports Now. As we get this party started, today's show number 4. We were able to get 3 shows in last week as we start a new week this week. That's all the time we have for you today. We will talk to you again tomorrow, 10 a.m. Join us on East Alabama Now Facebook and YouTube. Have a great rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.